Hear a hoot hoot. Oh no, of course. Old reliable.
Like we mentioned before, if you're slowly transitioning into this meta, get the Minotaur. You have
We're
this
leading
other.
into the matchup here.
Welcome
Second one
to
of the
Mobile
day. Again, I'm
Legends.
Naisu, joined here on the English desk with Ingan. And we're kicking it off. FNATIC ONIC Philippines versus Blacklist International. This rivalry that was talked about on the panel in the gold lane especially is something to keep an eye on. But also the fact that now this is a different version of FNATIC ONIC Philippines than what we've seen for the majority of the regular season, the first half, if you will, with Spider Miles in. And real quick, taking a look at it, they got 2 Warcry emblems. And, you know, just to answer Renmar's question, yeah, there's no mystery shop there for Spider Miles to build that up first, but he's just going pretty much pure tankiness. He's got the firmness, the tenacity, and he's going to be playing with that concussive blast as well.
And for Blacklist side,
First blood!
Off-cam kill there. Kirk! Wow! It was Kirk. I think there was an overextension from Lord JM, or he did an onward, so that the turret will indeed damage Lord JM, but the lover boy, not the lover boy, the heartthrob Kirk.
The heartthrob
picks up the
Kirk?
first kill. Heartthrob Kirk.
He's got the buff, I guess, here for game number 1.
Literally.
You guys will see what I mean by that later. Anyway, Kirk getting the first blood this early on a Warcry Edith. It's kind of scary because that should actually give him an advantage already.
Again, Kirk with the onward onto Lord JM, but this time King Kong is here. Defiant Sword will not bring him down, but will he go for it? I think not. And for Blacklist side, as I was mentioning a while ago, it's also a different lineup that FNATIC ONIC's going to face. Because the last time that they met again, it was Outplayed.
Outplayed, yep.
Who played? Now it's OHEB. And speaking of the rivalry of OHEB and Kelra, there was one stream where Kelra said OHEB's prime was really S8, but Super Prince almost uses the flicker. There was the rivalry during S8 was for Kelra, the prime of OHEB. Because for Kelra, OHEB was really dominating Kelra one-on-one laning phase at the gold lane.
And I think that's just, you know, again, both the gold laners here have a lot of history, have a lot of accomplishments themselves. But that's the thing. I always like to look at what's happening currently. And you look at Season 14 and especially even last season here, you know, OHEB specifically, he's had some time where he's had a little bit of struggle. Kelra, even on the flip side himself, you know, they both have gone through different teams and iterations to get to where they are. And looking at it, for OHEB, a glimpse of OHEB's Mage era. Throughout his MPL PH career, he has played Lunox 14 times, sporting a 57% win rate.
So for OHEB and Kelra, having a 1v1 here, Zaman Force, OHEB gets upper hand there. This is basically old reliable. Also for OHEB, Lord JM has to use the penalty zone, but got outplayed by King Kong with the 4 blades.
Oh no, flip side though.
Oh, onto the bottom lane here. Spider Mouse uses the Minoan Fury as Blacklist works on the gold plating of the bottom lane turret.
And as they take this gold, you're going to see a trade across the map.
Here comes the implosion. No more Minoan Fury for Spider Miles. That's a kill for MP the King. And FNATIC ONIC, Kirk is here all the way from the top lane.
I don't think you push that. He doesn't have Primal Wrath, so maybe if he had the ultimate for the Edith, then he would have given a call, but better they just back off. And, you know, going back to it, because this is what we are highlighting as we go into this matchup, that gold lane, you'll really see that experience that OHEB has as Lord JM in trouble again.
Here comes the Primal Wrath from Kirk. Lord JM once again suffering the damage from 2 Sonics. Not a good start. 0-3-0 for Lord JM.
And I was going to say, where you see OHEB shine on the Lunox with the amount of times he's played the hero, but Kelra, same thing with the Harith. I would hope that we get to see a glimpse of the specific stat for Harith for Kelra. But let's just put that all aside right now, Ingan, because right now Lord JM is getting just demolished. He is going to be of very little use on the Terizla, at least for this early portion. We'll see if he can at least land this penalty zone. That would be...
Okay. Penalty zone not going to connect onto anyone. Lord JM soaking up the damage. And here comes Haji with a Corruption Under the Realm plus Shadow Stampede. Look at Perks with the implosion play as King Kong gets the second turtle. Going right after Lord JM once again. Spider Miles for a turtle. Sonics, I think they won that trade.
So they traded out now for one of the turtles here for FNATIC ONIC. And that's what I'm saying. you know, you have to be able to find some win in these exchanges if you're Blacklist International, and that's what OHEB's doing. He was working on the start. You can see the damage. Even King Kong's got to respect it. But OHEB has to catch up. He's got to be able to build up as fast as he can, and I say catch up in the sense of catch up for the team, because that's what OHEB is going to be on this Lunox, and you already know you're struggling elsewhere. Oh, there it is.
Fast rotation here for FNATIC ONIC. Going right after Lord JM once again. This time, he's going to be able to escape, but that's 5 members of Sonics going up top. King Kong.
1v1?
1v1. Brilliance is pop. King Kong still has the Tempest of Blades. Will he still go? He uses the Retribution. Now Chaos Assault.
Oh.
Tempest of Blades. OHEB's going to dodge the Tempest of Blades. Wow. The Filipino. What's he called now?
Well, because he's playing Lunox?
Yeah, I think the Filipino. That's it.
I'm sure maybe our panelists have a name for that. We'll see. Before we coin it, we'll see how he does on the Lunox.
Let's leave it to Redmar.
But right now, with this, you know, Kelra, he's looking to do the same things that he, on the Harith. And one of the things that pops up in my mind with this, in terms of that battle, that gold lane matchup, when we get to the objectives, whether it's going to be the Filipino Sniper, Filipino Savage on their respective heroes, it'll play a big part of the fight. Now, the problem, like I was saying with Blacklist International, is who's going to be that set guy? So far, it's been Perks. Perks has been doing a great job at landing the implosions.
Yeah, even Haji with the Shadow Stampede.
Haji with the Shadow Stampede, he's got that too. But then eventually, Lord Jam will kind of balance it out. You know, he had a rough early game, but penalty zone is still, it doesn't matter how many items you have. As long as you land the penalty zone, you're pretty much setting your team up for success here.
Okay, King Kong going all the way from the bottom lane. Okay, so they're gonna give the turtle because King Kong doesn't get there in time. And now, I just noticed Super Friends actually already suffered the death because yesterday, Leo mentioned he's the top KDA among all players and didn't even die once during a 2-game series. But this time he has, as King Kong works on the bottom lane turret to even things out at the gold lane.
Okay, so they even it out, but you can see the push happening here. Cross map, same thing happening. And so this is great. Both teams really finding that space to push across the map, leading into the First Lord, and that's where things are going to be important here. Kirk will go ahead and spot things out. Perks is going to be fine.
Bottom lane,
Look at the bottom lane, though, yeah. Very patient there from King Kong. The rest of the team's going to kind of manage that wave, though. We'll see if they actually try to make a play here, but I don't know.
He goes in with a fracture, not going to be enough to bring him down. Almost, almost. Imagine a couple more items for MP.
They would have been a kill.
Yeah.
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 He would have had enough damage, most likely there. But looking at the items, too, so far, this is what I'm talking about. Kelra 2, not exactly there. You have a Holy Crystal Glowing 1 already locked in. Malefic Roar now picked up for MB the King. Also, the Enchanted Talisman. So those first and second items being locked in. On the flip side, FNATIC ONIC still trying to catch things up a little bit in the lanes. The Thunder Belt is there for Kirk. And that's what I'm saying. Like, most of the damage early on that they'll have for the objectives is going to be surprising that it's going to come from Kirk, because Thunderbelt, Warcry, Kirk's Conceal.
Oh!
Too fast!
King Kong too fast. He knows. He's been there. I mean, even Brusco has been using the Tigreal, so he really knows the capabilities of that hero. Now, counterattack can ensue here for FNATIC ONIC. That's 2 major resources used up by Perks.
All right, they get that out. But again, I think they just kind of stall this out, delay it. No Eternal Guard as well for Super Friends. And so they'll play it slow. They can play around the fact that they have sustainability, they have the heal. And so it's really like a battle of playing against a Netherrealm, playing against the heals from Spider Miles, right? And so with that, Spider Miles will be a forefront, because same thing, not only the heals, but a setup with Minoan's Fury. And that's why they slow things down. I think this is going to happen for a while. It's going to be a shuffle, you know? No one's actually going to want to commit. And maybe even for Lord JM, just because he's not there item-wise, they might just rely on Perks to get that set up with a Conceal, because he doesn't have Flicker. Lord JM does, though. So Blacklist could play with those options right now. They're just going to go ahead and focus down what they can in the mid-side, but FNATIC ONIC waits for King Kong. Whoa!
Oh, MP!
Whoa!
Brings down the top KDA hero, Super Friends. And an implosion coming in from Perks, but got cancelled by Kirk. Now Spider-Mouth goes in. It's going to be a 5v4. King Kong just waiting for the perfect opportunity to enter. A soft reset here for Blacklist.
That was a burst.
That was a burst. I mean, Super Friends didn't even have time to react. didn't even have time to cast the flicker.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that Malefic Roar that MP the King picked up, enough to go ahead and burst down through a mage. Now they're going to go for it.
Oh, penalty zone this time for Lord J and will connect, but Spider Miles answers right back with a Minoan Fury. Here comes the NetherRealm coming in from Haji. There's a kill onto Blacklist. King Kong with the front 4 blades. OM perks. Haji will fall down, and all of a sudden, the tides have turned for the King of the Jungle. A maniac for King Kong.
King Kong, a maniac already. We've seen him play this sling before. And now we get to see it again, the Infinix Instant Replay here. Looking at this setup come through. Beautiful, beautiful, set things up. The counterplay as well. And you know, they try to run, but how far can you really run from a Ling, from King Kong, fighting in this area to top it all off? Wow. As he gets that last kill, picks it up with Maniac, and he was close, man. He was really close to the Savage. I think it was MP the King that got away with a sliver of his health.
I have to commend also Kelra for setting things up for King Kong, doing the initial damage, and who could forget, of course, Spider Miles. Despite soaking up the damage, was still able to cast the Minoan Fury and Flicker combination. Caught Blacklist off guard, even though Haji was able to cast the NetherRealm on point. The damage from Kelra, as soon as he casted the Zaman Force, was just too much. It was easy for him to break the NetherRealm, and now the Lord, they have it on the bottom lane, plus a 1.2k gold lead.
So with this, they're going to push in.
They have 2 Lords.
They got 2 Lords basically
2 Lords.
down. Mini Lord and List Lord knocking down the tier 2. Meanwhile, King Kong will go ahead and just solo push top side. So Blacklist, shields are going to be popping here on the base turrets, but they'll hold on to them. Oh, MP.
Oh, 1v1 the jungler again. The conceal play, but Lord Mayhem catches him in the penalty zone. Now he has to walk away. That's a good use of a conceal to save MP the King. Lord JM heads up play there. They were able to defend all inhibitor turrets and save the second tier turret in the middle lane.
All right, they hold on, like I mentioned, they're going to hold on to the base turrets, but this is looking kind of dicey now for Blacklist International. It's a part of it too is just, you saw that with a good catch from Lord JM, but they didn't have the follow-up. If they can shut down King Kong, that'd be great. That'd be one great step for Blacklist International to try to turn some tides in their favor.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
MP still gets the purple.
Purple's still going to be secured. They got to fight for it. Again, there's really nothing else for them to fight for right now. They're still waiting that 38 seconds or so for this Lord to come up here. And so you look at the last fight, Blacklist International, how do we adjust from that? Spire Miles had a great set. You mentioned this earlier on, even for Calra laying down the Zaman Force. They got to be able to counterplay all that CC also thrown in their face. I mean, I didn't even mention the Edith, the Eternal Guard from Super Friends. Like, there's so many things here that Blacklist International has to play against. And again, that's why the Fairness is great. But you got to be able to pop off as well against what FNATIC ONIC has done. And MP the King, he's been doing a good job at finding his targets, but at some point, the Nolan will start to struggle a little bit.
Yeah, it's gonna
and
fall
then
off.
you're just waiting for FNATIC ONIC.
You, just much as possible, try to wait for a pick-off, but we all know King Kong, we all know Kelra. In terms of positioning, in terms of map awareness, it's hard to pick them off, especially during this big Lord clashes. And now, FNATIC ONIC, 1.9k gold lead. I'm a bit worried about Super Friends because he's at 0-2-0. It's going to take a toll on his total KDA.
Yeah, well, for now, all he's got to do is drop down Eternal Guard. They're waiting. The flickers are almost available for Perks and Lord JM. Lord's at half health here. Do they give it a call? Blacklist International might take the risk. They might send a Lord JM or Perks to go ahead and fight for this objective. They know they have another round too, but no.
They're going to burst it down now. FNATIC ONIC gets it, but Kurt this time will secure the Lord. Here comes another realm and the jump. Lord JM will fall down. Haji has to walk away. No trade for Blacklist. And that was quick thinking for the Sonics.
I think they were just like, I don't know, man. Blacklist just looked like they didn't know if they wanted to go or not. And then by the time Lord JM's like, yeah, I got this, it was too late. And FNATIC ONIC knew that timing was in their favor. They end up taking the Lord. They take Lord JM as well. And now they'll go ahead and get ready to march and knock on the base of Blacklist International. Yeah. Lord JM will be up for the defense. But hopefully this time they can stay in the game where they set up. And that might have to be Perks this time around. Base, the eyes are set here for FNATIC ONIC on that base as they wait for the Lord to push in here.
It's a tough job for Perks because, again, Kelra still has the Purify, King Kong still has the Tempest of Blades. Pretty sure you're only going to catch Super Friends off guard here as the Lord marches in the bottom lane. Takes that inhibitor turret, 1v1 again for King Kong and MP the King as the Sonics work on the middle lane. Are they going to try to burst down the middle lane turret? Perks is still there, waiting for the perfect setup as Kelra pops his Zamin Force. Really want to work on that mid lane turret. A lot of setups still available, but Sonics, the discipline.
Send Lord JM. I feel like that's every single time. Blacklist, send Lord JM. He will land one. He has the flicker now.
For sure.
He's got the penalty zone, and it's unfortunate because even with Perks on the Tigreal, you saw how fast he got to half health or lower just from a couple shots from Kelra. And these are your front line. These are your tanky guys for Blacklist International.
Okay, so they're just gonna give away the purple buff. They're not gonna contest for it anymore. FNATIC ONIC holding on to a 4.3k gold lead. And now in this case, even if Lord JM connects his penalty, so the problem is the follow-up from Blacklist because he has to use the flicker to connect, but the flicker makes it also harder to reach for the remaining members of the Asians as they burst down the top lane inhibitor turret. Only one turret remaining for Blacklist.
I think at this point for Blacklist, this is kind of like where you're almost in a situation that you have to throw the Hail Mary. You know, you got to go for the play, especially when it comes to this next Lord. They cannot do that play they just did for the last one. They can't wait too long. And maybe that was part of the plan. If we think about it, like maybe that was, you know, we can withstand another defense. Let's buy a little bit more time for Oheb, for Haji, even for MP the King to get the items they need, because looking at it, you know, they're pretty much more or less there. One more item can be locked in here for Oheb, but relatively he has enough damage. Even MP the King, he already has the Endless Battle and the BOD locked in as well. So they should be able to fight. When you think about it, they've got all the tools in their favor. It's just unfortunate because it seems like there's that hesitation to actually initiate the fight because of so much crowd control from FNATIC ONIC.
Need to full commit. Need a lot of backup if ever Lord JM, if ever Perks has a beautiful setup as FNATIC ONIC works on the Lord. A while earlier, they bursted it down because they know Blacklist wasn't going to contest, but this time, Blacklist really has to contest.
We go, Lord JM at the front of it all. Once again, quarter of the health on the Lord, doing enough damage as well to Lord JM. We'll see Spider Miles healing everybody up. They go!
Okay, but Kirk still gets the Lord a second time as they work on Lord JM! Perks with the implosion play onto the backline, but there's no follow-up because Spider Miles was able to zone them out with the Unknown Fury. Now MP the King to fall down. Lord JM as well. A double kill for Kelra. King Kong comes in with a Finch Voice Defiant Sword to bring down Haji. It's just Perks. Oheb left, but Haji has the passive. So there's still 3 agents.
No.
Oh, they canceled the recall of Oheb. Here comes Kelra! It's going to be a 1v1. I hope Spider Mouse and Super Prince doesn't go in. Let's see who's going to be the better gold laner as King Kong works on the crystal. The Winter Crown will be popped. They have the minions. And FNATIC, the Sonics, takes game 1.
Oh, and just when you thought Blacklist could do something about that team fight, FNATIC ONIC reminds them, while they're still undefeated, even with a switch up, they still make things work. That super family, that synergy, still clearly there. Good attempt.